So Cheval goes on foot. That means there's a place on Sundan's back and one on the giant elk for Sergal and Kane.
I'll be the nice one and ride Sundin.
I'll withhold comment. And Sergal, are you going with Tor on the giant elk?
I'll be on the elk in
Okay.
a guarded posture.
Okay. So while Tor will be responsible for guiding the elk, you'll be able to basically provide safety during the ride.
You do not guide elk. Elk guides you.
All right, and you're off. Which path do you want to take to head to Velaki? Do you take the main road and follow it from there?
At that point, it's dependent on time.
Sundin is going to suggest that we take the main road, but try to keep ourselves out of direct vision, though it is daytime, so we don't have to worry about Strahd, but just in case his minions are patrolling.
Uh, Tor, assuming that we don't have any issues between here and reaching Balaki, we'll be near. Tor will probably get off the elk and stay in the tree line to make his way to the Vistani camp, so that he doesn't risk getting spotted.
Perfect. All right. So as before, Shival, as they're heading out, can you give me a athletic checks, please? Okay. You actually have no trouble at all keeping up with the rest of the group. So you run alongside the jog pace that the animals are kind of going at. Um, there doesn't seem to be much activities in the woods during this time of day, and you may hear a bit of scuttering coming from inside the trees, but nothing too worrisome. You reach a fork in the road, which will make it fairly easy for you to know where you're heading. It has a three-way. One points to the direction you just came from, and it actually writes Argent Vost Holt on the sign. Going to your left, it points towards Kresk, and to your right, towards Velaki. I'm assuming you're continuing the way towards Velaki?
Well, that's where Sundin's going, since that was what we discussed before, so Silent Sundin sort of neighs and trots along towards taking the Velaki path.
Indeed.
Okay. So, again, there's nothing really that stops you. You're going kind of parallel to the road you just been through. You'll see a few ravens flutter by, but they don't seem to follow you at this point. A little bit of scurrying in the woods. You're not sure if it's anything threatening or squirrel-like, but you're kind of rushing forwards, and you reach a four-way point. Again, you'll see a sign. On the other side of that fork, you can see a bridge in the distance. One you have crossed or come close to crossing before. You could see it when you were reaching close to the Vistani camp before. It points back the way you came from, and it says Argent Voss, Holt, and Kresk. Going to your left, so north, points to Lake Baratok. And then the other one points south to Berez, or you can go forward to Velaki. Now, if I'm understanding correctly, everyone's still going to Velaki.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Where is that? All right, so you head towards the Vistani camp. You make a pit stop there, am I correct?
Tor will.
Is Tor going to separate from us as we're going, or are we gonna all go to the Vistani camp first?
Personally, personally, Sergal would appreciate having a little talk with the group that's going into Valakai, if that is amenable to your plans.
It's fine, Tsundi can't talk, so he's just gonna go where everybody else ends up going.
Alright, so here's the deal. Currently, the accepted story by the Baron is that you're all mercenaries hired by my order. I'm unaware whether or not, if I go in with you, we'll still be associated with each other. And personally, I do believe that it may be best for us to stick to that story. I can infiltrate on my own, behind all of you, of course. However, I probably won't show my true face, unless, of course, all of you are, well, well and good.
Once we get to the Vistani camp and Kane dismounts, Sundin will turn back into himself. But I have to wait for Kane to decide he's gonna dismount for that.
Yes, I will dismount.
Put your clothes back on.
Is that an actual problem?
Possibly.
I need
So
an
yes.
adult.
Zundin goes transforms back into himself and it goes into the Velaki camp, and he's looking around for the others here. The others, and just seeing. Do I see anybody new that wasn't here before?
I'm not able to touch any of you on this map for some annoying reason.
That's right.
Okay, I apologize. I'm not able to move any of the icons. You'd be closer to the entry at this point, so if you would please move the icons there. Thank you very much. So you're there, you're discussing. Circle has suggested that you all go undercover, and he's kind of trying to get everybody to agree to a common story. Do you do anything in particular with Tor, or are you just like, are you leaving him armed? Are you suggesting some kind of binding?
I do have a suggestion.
Okay.
There is a spell that I know. That it will give Tor the look of death.
No, that might be good and all, but they might want to chop his head off after we try to return that. And since he's already agreed to stay in the Vistani camp, I don't see why we should need to change our plan too much. The only thing that I need to do is what Tor and I originally agreed to.
And then he's going to approach Tor and tap on his plate armor as a reminder.
Tor takes the plate off and places it at Sundin's feet, and if at all possible, see if you can retrieve my chain mail shirt, please.
I will do what I can. Perhaps they have something else I might be able to get to as well, if not. Don't worry, it's probably not as costly as this. I'm not really sure how much money is worth. But anyway, yes.
And then Sundin will mend any scratches or breaks or anything that's wrong with the armor, and then use prestidigitation to shine it up a bit.
Once I change into my breastplate, I will have a spare scale mail shirt.
I'm not sure that would fit Tor without some modifications. Tor is big. It's up to DM, though.
We're all medium size.
Scale mail.
You want
Kane wants to give toward his scale mail.
It would still, you're all the same size, but not exactly the same build. He would have the same issue with the scale mail as it does with plate. You'd still be able to use it, but it would do -1 to the AC it normally gives, until you're able to get it fitted.
Well, there's a blacksmith here, so Tor can probably go get it fitted.
And if nothing else, I'm proficient with smith tools, so if they would let me use their forge or whatever anvil, or if they got anything here to work on, I can do the work myself.
Yeah, that would take you a while though to get it fitted, at least a half day.
Well, it's something for Tor to do while he's in the Vistani camp, I guess.
That's true. They normally don't have everything, like you wouldn't be able to create anything at their forge. They'd have an anvil, though they usually use this anvil to make horseshoes and fix those. You'd see they have anything for sharpening, but you would be able to use it for some fitting. That would work.
Okay.
Cheval was going to look towards Circle. That plan had worked last time. They seem to have believed it. I don't see why that would fall apart. I was believing that we should probably visit Father Lucian first when we enter. Irene was last with him that we knew. He may perhaps know the full context of why she is not with him now.
That is probably a wise decision. It's where we left him. I am not 100% sure it is Isaac that took her, but she was gagged from what the bat was saying, and there was a strange man with no hair and a strange colored arm, which really sounds like Isaac to me.
Harking back to that, that is exactly the reason why I suggest that we separate for a bit. As you recall, Isaac was with all of us, even though he might accept the story about how you're all a mercenary group under my order. I do believe that I still would be implicated if I, as the one behind all of it. As such, I was suggesting that I at least approach from a separate entrance.
That sounds reasonable. You will be able to better get some idea of if anything else is going on the surface.
What was that armor again that I was working on? Is it
Scale mail.
okay.
Alright, so from there, if I understand correctly, Tor is heading into the Vistani camp, given he's pretty much has been told he's quite welcome there, to work on the scale mail. Cheval, Kane, Sundin, and Ismark are gonna go through the closest entrance to the Vistani camp, while Sergal, you're gonna follow the outer wall to the other exit, or are you going towards the one closer to Kane's home from the upper part?
If anything, I'd probably go through the entrance that actually, yeah, I'll go through the southern entrance. Or the next closest entrance.
Okay, it's the opposite north. Okay.
That's fair.
Sundin is going to take the armor that Tor laid after he finishes doing it, and he's going to put it on the back of the badger and strap it down, so because it's kind of heavy and it's kind of big and he's kind of small.
Kane is going to walk with Sundin.
And
I was thinking.
I was going to just say real quick before they depart, Tor will kneel down to Sundin and tell him thank you, but please try to retrieve my chain. And he stands up, looks at Kane, and holds the armor and says, "Thank you." And then he just turns and walks back into the Vistani camp.
Okay, so Of course, of course. I'll see what I can do. Perhaps they have something else as well. And then he's going, as he's walking back, did we determine that we're all going to the monastery, or are we going to go to different locations at the same time, like Circle suggested?
Could I add that I would have mentioned that I wanted to meet at the Blue Water Inn, but if you guys want to meet at Father Lucian's, I can meet there too.
The inn might be a better. The inn will be a better meeting point. Father Lucian, it will likely be that he can only tell us so much, and that we'll be able to better understand things closer to the center of town.
All right. So you've decided to meet up at the Blue Water Inn. I don't know if you're stopping at the Abbey to see Father Lucian and Snow. So you can sort of go on. The group will reach the gates far before Sergal reaches his. As you reach the gates, you'll see them closed, and there's the slit that, if you knock on the door, opens, and there's a guard there. Ismark would, in his rush, probably really go at the head at this point and knock on the door quite insistently. And as the guards would open, he'd narrow his eyes and look past and see all of you. And you would hear a gruff voice go, "You're not welcome here."
And why is that? Charles gonna kind of accept next to Isaac, catching up with him.
You've caused enough trouble. We've got a better idea of your intentions. We know what your companion did.
I suppose at this point, Sunan is approaching with the badger and the armor, and he was like, well, you don't need to worry about him. Anyway, this is what we have left. And then he's going to tap on the armor. I was planning on returning this to your smith. It's a little bit hard to do that if you're not letting us in.
Roll a persuasion with advantage. Kane, they would have associated you just because of the company you're with.
You're beginning to understand why Sergal chose to go alone.
Yep. Ouch.
Ashral is going to try and add on. From what we understand, he had been under some kind of strange influence before that happened as well.
Okay. I'll take the higher number. Do the same thing. Roll persuasion, though you do not have advantage. You'll hear the click as he closed that slit back shut, like clunk, and opens the door. You hear that long wince before he kind of gives you a look of distrust. 3 guards are there, all of them looking at you through very narrow eyes, and they have weapons in hands. We're going to follow you the entire time you're in town. Any sign, and I mean any sign, that something's about to go amiss, and you're back out of here, and you may never return. Your other companion tried to convince us that it was just one person. He's rotting in the stockade right now. If you don't want the same fate, I suggest you behave.
Other companion? I don't remember us having anything of the sort. But anyway, that's fine. You can follow us about. I have nothing to hide and nothing to worry. Just us understand that sometimes children make mistakes, and we're trying to correct them as best as possible.
Yes, the priest. But if you say so, so go ahead. And they step aside to let you through. Okay. As you're walking through with 3 guards in tow, there's 5 totals, but 2 are seeming to want to remain close to the gates. Sergal, how are you approaching the upper gate, the north gate?
Honestly, I am probably going to take. Yeah, I'm probably going to enter via my regular form, and just rap on the door and request entry again.
You're going to be met with basically the same fate. So you're going to have a couple of guards go.
Mm, I would have had my
Well,
own
you're with the,
thing, but
but you're with that group of adventurers that were here with the abbey during the festival, aren't you?
uh, you're talking about you're talking about the mercenaries I hired for the job at the windmill. I cut contact with them as soon as well, last night didn't go according to plan. Let's say the Erobite Scriptorium has no affiliation with that group anymore.
Perhaps. I think the description they had said was that you're supposed to be golden, and there was a little one, Niesmark, and well, there's the big burly one, not to mention the dark fellow with the cloak. And he's kind of referring to the disguise you had the most of the time you were with the party during your stay in Valaki. Um,
My other disguise was never affiliated with them, but okay.
Actually, you did walk with them for a part of the way at some point. You were known to be a thief, and you happened at the same time as the group.
Yeah, they're the ones that ratted me up.
Yeah.
I kind of went into the windmill, into the Baron's house on my own under that guise.
Yes, you weren't like seen chatting in the Blue Water Inn, but all of that happened together, and that would have been more memorable. And even though you weren't all chummy, they put all of you in the same basket at this point, just because you're outsiders.
Okay, so my alias is not usable anymore.
And he's gonna basically tell you have to run a deception check first for your mercenary gig. Well, all right. But I'm warning the other ones you're here. So if I hear about anything, you're getting the boot. Actually, I'm going to make it better. You do anything, you're going to the stockade, and you're going to be there until you rot there. Outsiders
Thank you
are
for
in
being so
so
pleasant.
much trouble. And as you say thank you while he's kind of giving you a hard time, you're going to see him kind of just purse his lips and look away, kind of trying to ignore the fact that you just made him feel bad.
I'll just clap him over the shoulder, assuming the gate's open, and push a silver into his hand and walk in.
Yeah, that just made him feel worse. He's just kind of going to
I
grip it
know.
tightly and let you walk through. And you're going to see him and his companions kind of whisper, and you don't have to run a perception check. They're not subtle. You're going to see some guards kind of relay the message. And we're going to go back to the main group. Where were you heading first?
Honest. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead if you wanted to add something.
I was just going to say that my first location was going to probably be the Blue Water Inn to ask for information, but
Okay. So you can start traveling around that road, which brings you practically right there. And back to Shival, Sundin, Ismark, and Kane.
Imagine since on the way, Shall gesture to Shall kind of make his way towards the abbey to go check in on Father Lucian while they're already nearby. Not necessarily paying any heed to if the guards follow after inside the building.
That's going to depend. Is the group splitting, or are you all heading in together?
Sunan will probably try to get over to the smith quickly so he's not carrying that heavy load with him. But he'll look to the others. I'm gonna go and speak to the smith. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Kane is going to look at Sundin. I'm going to come with you.
Okay. You're going to see how much your decision confuses the guard because they seem to not have expected that, and they look at the three of them and the fact that you split into two groups. Um, so they take a moment, and one of them will get posted by the Abbey, but they're not coming in. They're going to just stay by the door. And two guards will follow Kane and Sundin. You'll find the smith around here.
So as they're walking, Sunan's going to look to the guards and be like, "How did you enjoy that festival? It's quite interesting, wasn't it?"
He's just going to glare at you.
"Oh, fine, fine. I understand you're just doing your job. You're a good man. Very, very good man." Could you tap the place where the smith is again? I missed that.
Okay. So it's kind of directly north of the Blue Water Inn. So you find your way there. You don't encounter anything except a few patrols, and the guards are kind of going to point you out. And they're following you until you reach the smith's place. In the Abbey, Ismark follows Cheval. What do you do inside, Cheval?
If he's gonna go inside and after checking on, see if the guard is intently watching or is he just patiently waiting, he's gonna look around inside to see if Father Lucian's in plain sight.
Okay. You're going to notice very easily that the guard is just waiting. You're going to see that there was a mass not that long ago. There's a little bit of debris here and there, some papers on the ground and such, a few crumbs from people who might have had stuff in their pockets. Father Lucian is busy at the altar, kind of cleaning up the aftermath. There's a few patrons left kneeling by some benches, and they're kind of really into their prayers at the moment. The place seems fairly intact, or in the same condition you left it in. And as he's busying himself, once he lifts his eyes and recognizes you, he has this sudden expression of surprise and actually hurries in your direction.
Chevelle will approach and, like, not loudly to disturb any of the other patrons around, but is gonna first look to see if Lucian seems to have any signs of injury of any kind or roughing up.
Well, you don't see anything in the old creature. Um, he's just basically gonna. There's some urgency about the way he's behaving. Um, like he's a little erratic, and he'll be along the lines of, "Oh, good, 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 you've returned. I could not stop them." And he turns to Ismark. "Your sister. They gave her to him. There's nothing I could do. Automatically, she was a criminal by association."
We had heard as much, and our friend Snow has been taken as well, or is that an unrelated incident?
"Yes, he was." And as he's trying to talk, Ismark just clasps both hands on his shoulders, his eyes wide and completely panicked. Where did he took him? Where did it took her? Where is Isaac? Where is he? And Father Lucian looks a little bit taken aback, but he calms and understands really quickly. "Calm, my boy, calm. There's no benefit in this kind of behavior. If you lose your head, you'll lose her for sure. You need to be logical and reasonable about this." And he turns to Cheval. "Your friend, Snow, he's been a great help to me. But they placed him in the stockade. He might be difficult to recognize, but he's one of the donkey heads. As for Isaac, I have no idea. They may have taken him to the mansion, to the Baron's house, where he resides. They were gonna," and he gasps for a moment, "they were gonna hang her. With her marks on her neck and the association to the thief. It didn't look good for her. But Isaac insisted that instead he would watch over her personally. So they handed her to him. Most of the guards are afraid of him, you see.
Cheval is very clearly a- agitated at the mention of the initial plan to hang her. This, and he kind of cools for a second. If he plans to watch over her, she'll likely be at the Baron's house. Considering our greeting at the gate, towards this mark, we may not be welcomed there initially, not without a difficulty arising to stop us. We may want to see what how Snow is doing, if he can tell us any more, or if at least he'll be fine. With the others, we may have a better chance of dealing with finding Irina.
Ismark will take a deep breath, or three, and then call himself and look at you. You are correct. We are better off with all of us. Perhaps we should head to the inn and regroup, inform the others of the outcomes.
He may very well come seek us, if we are of such importance for him to take such action, and remembering the night before we departed from him.
Perhaps.
And if no other words, I will give a goodbye to Father Lucian and start heading back outside the abbey, heading towards the inn.
Okay. All right. So you can start to trek on your way. With this conversation, Sumden and Kane would have reached the smithy. Once you get there, you'll see this little man that's starting to bald in the center with like the crown of hair, a bit of a pot belly behind the counter looking at you. It's like, or you dare to rob me as well?
No, actually, we're here to do quite the opposite. I have something that belongs to you. And he's going to lead the badger in and show him the armor, which should be in shinier and better condition than when Tor got it.
Okay. Well, after giving like a point to the badger and being kind of like a slag jaw for a moment, I'm like, he doesn't see big badgers there every day. So not exactly something common. Um, he's going to shrug it off. They're not unheard of, just not usually a pet. And he'll go forward, kind of inspect the armor for damages. While it's intact enough, I guess I can accept this as reparations. But don't expect to get a bargain from me. If you shop here, it's full price for all of you.
I wasn't planning on getting any kind of bargain or anything. I just wanted to bring you back what is yours and apologize for our friend. You know, the devil and all. He got inside him, and we managed to get him out. But once we did, he was more than willing to help and give us back what he had actually taken up when he was out of control.
Okay. Do a persuasion with advantage.
Soon in this terrible persuasion. Just give me a second.
Not bad.
You'll see that not only the smith, but the guards behind you start to kind of exchange looks, all three of them together back and forth. And they kind of look down for a time. And you'll hear one of the guards actually say, "Yes, the devil. The devil can be a problem. We understand. We won't follow you any longer. You've done reparation, you and your friends. You helped at the festival. Do not get in any more trouble, all right?"
Well, we are trying to avoid it as much as possible. Thank you, kind sir, and I hope you have fair journeys and a good time. Now, before I go, he's going to look back to the merchant. I know that you said that we're paying full price, and I don't mind. But do you have any other armors that you might be able to sell? It seems that my companion's rather naked at the moment. I might need to get him something.
You'll see the guards just kind of nod and leave as you are doing business. Why, yes, yes, I do. And here they are. And he's gonna open a cabinet, and you're gonna get like several pieces of armor. Most of the things that you can find in the player's handbook. The plate is the only thing he seems to have. He has basically at least one or two of every light and medium armor. Heavy armor, you see a. Hold on, let me check. But there's one piece of heavy armor in there.
The plate you just returned.
Is it splint by chance?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it is splint. It's not the half plate. Yeah, it's the other one. So.
Well, then I'll take that one there if you don't mind. How much is that?
Has to check in here. Okay, splint. That'll be 1,000 gold.
Did you say 1,000 gold for armor?
Yes.
Can I do an insight check?
Yep. With a 13, you look at him and you start to see that there are a lot of signs that he's not taking care of himself in the most healthy ways. You see that some of the tools and such are very unused, being that the people here don't travel and don't get outsiders very frequently. Um, Business is quite rare. Um, However, you think that being a smith, on the other hand, you'll notice that his hands are quite calloused, so he would get plenty of repairs. So inflated price might make sense for most merchants. The smith is the one that might be exaggerating here.
Um, would Kane know about roundabout the price split armor would be normally?
Now, you wouldn't necessarily know this because you're not one to wear these kind of things, but you would know that he's massively exaggerating, at least by twice too much.
Now, I know you may be aggravated with us. Full price we agree to. Overpricing is hard to agree to, sir.
That would be a persuasion with disadvantage.
That's not gonna go well.
So Sundin is going to like sort of mess around in his bag for a bit, and he's just gonna grab a handful of platinum and look at them. And he's like, "Is this enough?" And
Gosh
he's
darn it,
gonna.
you used the platinum. Gosh darn it.
Oh, the 6.
Roll a d20.
Oh, we're going with the luck roll.
Nope, not exactly.
No, how many I bring out. I was gonna say
Shit!
I was gonna say 50
Oh,
platinum,
crit.
but still. Oh, look at that!
Give me a second.
Oh god, this is not gonna go well.
Sorry. Um. So he looks at your hand, looks at you. He peers for a moment and kind of tries to gauge what exactly, and he kind of starts to realize you don't really understand money well. And he kind of reaches forward and grabs all the coins that are in your hands, the 20 pieces of platinum, and he goes, "Oh, why, yes, I think that'll be just enough."
You do realize that 20 pieces of platinum is 200 gold, right?
I'm getting down for that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah,
So I'm like, yeah,
yes,
yes, okay.
Oh yeah, but there's other information he's grabbed. Now, I know it's only 10 times 10, but you have to understand that the regular price of split mail is 200 gold.
yes, and he got 200 gold.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't know that though.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's just funny.
all right. That's
All
excellent.
right, that's excellent. I'll take that.
I could probably just for another or 18 pieces, which would be much, much less, have this nice piece of leather that I could rework for a tiny person like yourself.
Oh no, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. I have quite my own protection. Oh, very kind man. Thank you very much. And he's gonna tap his staff and he's gonna get bark skin real quick. See, it's hard as armor. It's quite useful. I should show you how to do it sometime.
How about
Sundin,
for
not
your
everyone can do nature magic.
Exactly. Perhaps your friend would need good armor. I could make you a discount price.
Um, yeah. He's going to pull his cloak to the side. I have like a brand new breastplate. If you want, I could sell it to you for 2,000 gold pieces.
He's gonna have his eyes just kind of drop to a blank stare and be like, "Alright, I understand. Now get out."
Yeah, have a nice day.
Thank you, you're very kind. Here's a tip. He's gonna flip him one more coin of platinum.
Really? Really? You give him platinum when he's being a complete asshole.
But he offered to give me armor for a discount.
That's not a discount.
If Sergo ever finds out that you people have been using platinum in Barovia, he'll be livid.
Is there any way I could try and catch the platinum out of the air before he catches the other guy gets it?
That's a DC 18 dexterity check.
Fuck it, I'm down. Let's do this. Flat dexterity, correct?
Flat dexterity. Or Slay of Hand.
Oh, so close. It's the same thing. It's a +2. So close. 15 or 14. So close.
Yep, you just.
Hey, that's my sleight of hand modifier.
14 is your sleight of hand modifier?
Yeah, he has a bonus. He has expertise.
Jesus.
But anyway, so Sundin's gonna wait for him to help load up the armor onto the badger, and then he's gonna clean the armor and shine it up and do the Mindy thing on it too.
So basically, Sergal ends up completing this battle by, pickpocketing stakes and sun potions out of Strahd's pockets. But no, you just missed the coin. You actually kind of feel it touch the tip of your finger as it keeps on its trajectory, and you'll see the merchant just catch it and give a very broad smile to Sundin and sort of trying to figure out which way he's going, as if he plans to try and bargain with him again.
Sundin will look up.
Sundin will look up again. He's quite a nice fellow, isn't he?
No, he's not.
But
he offered a discount, and just for all those shiny little things.
Those shiny little things have real value, Sundin.
Yes.
Yes, the crows really like them. They're quite shiny. I like them too. They're very good for decorating your hut. Reflects the sunlight in this beautiful way on sunrise.
So does glass, but glass is useless. That is very useful.
But yes,
it's got his armor.
Yes. For 20 of those, yes, I agree. For 20 platinum, that's enough for his armor. But 18 for some leather armor? No. Never.
Oh, whatever you say. We should go back and tell the others the good news. Tor will be happy to know that I got him some armor. It's going to be better than what he had before, I think.
Oh, is my armor not good enough?
Well, it's a little small. He's a big man.
It's malleable. You can change it.
Oh, all right, your armor is quite lovely, Kane. And then he's going to walk on.
Okay. As the two of them kind of bicker back and forth to Kane's exasperation on the way to the inn, Circle would have arrived there first as he headed straight there. Now, what do you do when you walk in this familiar establishment?
Essentially, once I walk in, I look to the barkeep and point at an empty table to the to the side of the room, and then I just sit there waiting.
Okay. So you'll find yourself a table. There's a few patrons scattered about, but you'll easily find one close to the stairs that lead up. Um, Close to, pardon me, to the edge of the counter where the balcony is. Um, and you'll see Danica uh, hurry your way with not even waiting. She just has a glass of wine in her hands and just plops it in front of you and be like, "Well, I didn't expect to see you back so soon."
I'm going to be smiling. Quite right, my dear. I was beginning to miss you. So tell me, what has anything interesting been happening? And as I say this, I'm essentially uh, implying what's been going on I'm asking what's been going on in the city and trying to be inconspicuous about it.
And she gives a little playful huff and gives you a little wave and says, "Oh, you flatter me. But yes, yes, you no need for these. Nothing very interesting. We still have no wine that has arrived. Um, well, you've I don't know if you've heard, but there's been commotion. Once one of your companion, the one with the big, and she points to her mouth like the big teeth, uh, odd skin color. He caused
Is that
some
one?
trouble. Yeah, he caused some trouble. People were a little bit outraged, started to have something about outsiders and such. And actually gave an idea for a festival to the Baron, and she's gonna have kind of like a worried, disgusted look on that.
A festival dedicated to.
Ah, no outsiders to simply the village itself. It's the festival of the closed doors. If you ask me, they're making less and less sense as times go. I suggest you leave before the morrow. That's when it's gonna happen. As you know, attendance is mandatory.
But of course. Hmm. I'm also probably gonna be waiting for. Huh. Actually. I'm probably gonna just wait for the rest of the group, but I'm gonna take some time to think about what I'm gonna do next. So,
Okay. You won't have to wait very long. You'll see Shival and Ismark be the next one to pop into the Blue Water Inn. They'll arrive a little bit before Sundin and Kane, actually. So Shival, when you come in, you'll see Sergal having light conversation with Danica, and as you enter, it's at this point that she just kind of nods to him and goes back to her duty as another patron calls her.
Is the other guard still with us, or had he answered my question earlier?
Yeah, he had told you that he was just waiting. When you went back towards the inn, he walked behind you and he's following you up to the inn, though he's not gonna go in either. He's just telling you that he'll wait by the door.
On the way, I had asked him why Snow is being publicly humiliated or whatever. I need to scroll up a bit. It was one of the in-character posts.
I do not question the Baron's judgment. If he said he was guilty of a crime, then he's guilty of a crime.
Shaw kind of just shrugged and not asked anything else after that, and we'll go inside then.
Okay.
When he spots Sergal, he'll go ahead and make his way over, uh, making sure that Ismark's falling behind.
Yeah, Ismark is staying very close, and he'll spot Circle, give him a head nod as they regroup.
It turns out, Shamal says as he's sitting down, getting Sergal's attention, that Snow is currently on display for some crime that the Baron has decided he's committed.
Ah, one of your other companions before I recruited you. I see. Well, I apologize, however, we had this discussion before. I cannot be. Well, the Erabite Scriptorium thanks you for your assistance last night, but we cannot be seen doing business again. You understand, of course. Um, if you pardon me, I will need to take a walk outside. And I basically do this walk up, indicating that we can deal with his tails in the we can lose his tails through the alleys if he tries to follow.
Chanel's gonna kind of like feign a growl as Sergal's mentioning he can't do business anymore, and he's gonna remain and look towards the door, waiting for when Kane and Kane and Sunan arrive.
Okay, so Circle, you're leaving the inn.
Leaving the inn and moving around the back.
Okay. So you managed to do this before Sundan and Kane return. So where are you heading exactly?
Essentially, I'm going into a shadowed recess of the to the back of the Blue Water Inn in the and try to stealth. If Shival tries to follow, then I'm going to try to like line the guards and so in the hopes that we can all just slip away.
So you're trying to stealth out of the Blue Water Inn by the main door? Or
No, I'll walk around. I'll walk through the entrance, and then once I go around back, I'm gonna stealth, and I'm gonna see if Shival follows and who follows him. Essentially, I'm leaving to see who follows.
Okay. Roll your stealth. Okay. So you're basically merging with the shadows. Cheval, you said you're staying in the inn, however.
Yeah, Chanel's kind of watching occasionally towards the door, waiting for when Kane and Sunan join up again.
Okay. Circle, the only thing you'll see is as you get out at first, you don't come out unseen. You merge with the shadow after you reach the back. But as you get out, the guard that's posted there will give you like a weird look, and he's giving you like a once over, maybe a couple of times, as if he looks very confused. You don't have to make a check to understand very quickly that he's kind of questioning for a second if the dragonborn he saw come in it somehow changed or mutated or something. They are fairly narrow-minded folks. And he'll just kind of hesitantly and confusedly keep his post. But you don't see much else except that you'll soon hear before you even see Sundan and Kane approach the inn, just having a bizarre conversation with each other. And they'll enter the inn for Cheval to see them arrive.
When Sundan arrives, he'll look over to Danica and say, "Hello, Danica. It's nice to see you again. How are things going?"
Ismark will beckon you to their table.
Okay, then I guess Sundin will come over to the thing, to the room, and sit down at the table with him as he like sort of crawls up the seat like a little kid trying to crawl into a big person seat. So he sort of grabs with both hands, climbs up with his knees, and then flops over back on his butt.
Was the reparation seen well?
Oh yes, actually, he was a very, very nice man. Kane seems to think he was being a bit of a swindler, but he was a very nice man. He gave us another set of armor for only 20 of these things, of those shiny things that I found in the dungeon.
Which are all kind of like have a basic understanding of that kind of value.
Yeah, you've been fairly worldly at this point, so you understand. You might not understand exactly how rare platinum are, but you'd understand their value and what they are worth in terms of the price of gold.
Sort of kind of has that kind of like almost primal glint of it's a shiny thing. But he'll give a strange look towards Kane in confusion. Unfortunately, it seems Irina is being kept with Isaac. As for Snow, he's apparently somewhere out in public display with a donkey head, I believe it was.
Oh yes, that's ridiculous punishment of theirs.
What do you mean he has a donkey head?
I think it might be. Cheval's clearly trying to grasp concept. Perhaps it is like the sacks put over an executed prisoner. From what I've heard of how human towns work things.
Well, how humans work things.
We Dragonborn do not necessarily have villages like this. We are quite close family.
Well, I mean, I'm human. I've never really heard of anybody putting a hollowed out donkey's head on somebody.
Ismark will chime in, kind of looking over at Kane and just think for a moment. They're not real donkey heads. They're crafted. But the point is, it's heavy, it's uncomfortable, and it makes you look ridiculous. It's humiliation as a punishment.
But nothing worse necessarily will happen to him.
Well, that depends if they ever take him out of the stockade.
Well, did we actually gather why he's in the stockade? If it's just dealing with us, he should be released fairly soon.
The guard I talked to mentioned that was some order of the Baron. Lucian said it was very similar to around the time Irina was taken with Isaac. They originally had planned to hang her, but Isaac convinced to watch over her himself. I imagine it's a related matter.
And I suppose capturing her is better than the alternative. Does that mean we should probably go speak to the Burgermeister then?
Depending on how happy you've made the local guards, we may have a better chance of talking to them. Ismark and I opted not to go visit ourselves, considering the welcome we had received at the gate alone.
Well, I don't know how quickly rumors travel, but the merchant did say that this was reprimands, and we gave him some money, and the gods actually seemed to understand when I told them that the devil was part of it. So they seem to understand. I'm hoping perhaps they'll tell the others, and it'll travel up. But if news travels fast enough in such a small village, we might be able to speak to the burgomaster ourselves and clarify a bit.
All right. And as you agree on your next course of action, I will move quickly to Tor. At this point, Tor, you'd be well off with fitting your armor. While you wait for the group to do what they have to do, is there anything else that Tor would want to do around the Vistani camp?
Was the river nearby the stream? Or was that just the other Vistani camp?
Yeah, it's not by the Vistani camp, but you wouldn't have to walk very far on the Old Svalich Road before you reach the river. So you could easily reach it with if you take a horse in 10-15 minutes.
Now he'll just stay put and stay put in contemplation, hoping that the group hasn't been taken hostage or killed or whatever possible scenarios terrible that he can think of in his mind.
Okay. Do you stake around in the main Vistani huts, or do you actually walk around? Is there people you want to talk to, or like I said, are you just staying put? Because there's also the wagons with the with the dusk elf little cabin houses.
No, he wouldn't have any reason to speak with them at this point. He's just more concerned on how everybody's faring.
Okay. All right. You'll probably have a visit from Arabelle and her dad, Ergol, who will come and see you, sit around, and offer to share a good meal, exchange some stories with you. You'll hear about how they had to bury quite a few dark elves who got overthrown during that attack with a bunch of vampire spawn. As they were hunting wolves for you down in the forest, they had more vampire spawn in the forest, and some of them fell to that. They don't hold it against any of you. It's something that has happened before. They know kind of like what they're getting into, but their numbers are dwindling. But the woods have been calmer since, so that's something that they inform you of.
Uh, Tor would offer is a apologies and regret for the loss of his comrades and go through the story of all of them being captured and what they went through, uh, escaping Strahd's castle and winding up in the temples, and he's just gonna relate the tale to fill him in on what else happened since Tor took off from there that night.
All right, and they'll definitely regale in your tales. They're kind of gonna have a yeah, they're gonna have a bit of oohs and ahs. Might have a good laugh and call you a bunch of crazy fools who tried to go down a mountain in a boat. Um, they'll be in awe at the tales of this rock bird that you encountered. They haven't heard of the Amber Temple. They'll ask a few questions on that. Then they'll tell you that their tales are quite less intriguing or exciting as yours. I think given things have been calmer, they had the funerals, a few wolves and direwolves hunt as Strahd's spies keep on going in the forests. Um, and then they'll inform you that they're also at the chase of, they had a Vistani trader, and they'll kind of warn you on that because that's a, and they'll emphasize on the fact that Vistani that betrays the Vistani code or the Vistani clans is the worst crime you could do. It's probably even worse than, taking their daughter would be a betrayal in itself, but it's worse than murder or thievery. So it's very awful. And this Vistani traitor lady had the gall to sneak in their camp and steal one of their horse. So they're on the chase of her. So that's what they're up to lately.
Tor's gonna tell them the story of how he arrived here by that one Vistani and try his best to describe him from memory and see if maybe they know of this particular Vistani, and if so, if he and the one that stole from them are maybe working together or of the same camp.
They said they actually don't know her. She is a traveler. Um, a lot of Vistani have set camp here, but some of them exist from families outside in the Sword Coast, and she's one of those. They don't know her name. They'll give you a quick description that she's tall, She's got a leg that looks like it's not, that it looks almost mechanized. They're not exactly sure. Um, and she has these long brown curly hair, though they kind of all laugh as a lot of the Bistani women kind of fit that description. Um, but they say that she has this look in her eyes that's complete determination, and she doesn't look like someone who has lots of fun or time as most of their people do.
Tor just will listen at this point, and he'll probably appear somewhat distracted, going back and forth from listening intently to them to gazing off in the distance to see if his friends are returning or not.
Okay. Yeah, you're not gonna see his friends returning anytime soon. So we'll go back to the Blue Water Inn as you've decided to all head out and you have your aim. So I will ask Cheval, Sundan, and Kane to run a perception check as you exit the inn.
I was going to ask if there's any ravens about, but I'll do your perception check.
You wouldn't see them in the inn, anyways.
Well, I meant around and about where they usually hang out.
I'll take that in consideration in your perception roll. Yeah, you're blind. Okay. Oh, Kane, what did you roll? I don't see your thing. It could be a delay again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was rolling perception.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, everybody that basically came out of the inn.
Okay. All right, here comes Ismark with the 20, right?
We're about to see.
Sorry, I was preoccupied talking shit in chat.
Perception. Okay.
Nat 1.
He's got a lot on his mind. Give him a break.
Okay, so both Ismark and Sundan see some guards patrol by, and you get the impression you've got more people tailing you. So you mistake those patrols as people on watch for you. You don't notice any ravens whatsoever. You'll spot one that you know per se is a normal raven. It's on the ground fishing for worms. You don't think a war raven would actually do that. However, Cheval and Kane, you may spot that there is up top a row of raven kind of on the roof looking about. But the circle is nowhere to be seen. Circle, you do see your compatriots come out, but they do not see you.
I'll take this moment to remind the party that it actually makes sense that Sundan doesn't ever see anything. Technically, if the DM wasn't so nice, Sundan would always have disadvantage on visual perception rolls, considering he has one eye.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, at seeing the group, I'm going to cast Prestidigitation to make the sound of a, I suppose the sound of a ringing of, you know those desktop bells when you ring them and they just kind of trail off? It's just that kind of ringing sound, indicating that they should go around back.
Hearing that, Shaw's going to look in the direction, and assuming Circle is your gesture, he'll kind of alter his course and plan for the others to fall after him.
Sundan will stand up and he'll perk up and look around. Does someone hear ringing? Is that just in my head? And he's going to tap on the side of his head and sort of stick his finger in his ear. I'm not sure. Does anyone else hear that?
Consider it like your message, I guess. Joe kind of like quiets him down and rushes him over.
Okay. I'm going to use the same perception. So, Kane and Cheval, you'd be able to tell exactly where it comes from.
Kane is going to follow Cheval's lead.
I guess we're going that way then. All right then. And it's going to sort of hop behind them. Actually, it's just going to hop on the badger right behind them because he's old and it's easier to walk.
So once everyone makes their way around back, as I keep using prestidigitation to make small sensory noises to indicating to go in that direction, and I'm satisfied that no one else followed them, I'll make myself known to them.
So, Sergal pops out of the shadows.
Apologies, however, it's easier for me if I move around under that organization. From what I...
That's an interesting trick.
is a minor magical trick that just about anyone can perform. That aside, however, it sounds like that we'll have only one day for this operation. After tomorrow, outsiders are going to be... well, unless any of you want to stay around for the Festival of Closed Doors, I suggest that we get Irina and get a move on.
What's going to happen to all the outsiders?
It's a festival dedicated to the, I suppose, to the removal or the demonizing of outsiders, meaning that the ones immediately in peril are going to be Irina and us. And Snow. I haven't seen that guy around, though.
Sundin is going to cast prestidigitation and also do ringing and then listen.
Congratulations.
What triggered this said festival?
Oh, nothing much other than a big-toothed orc, or half-orc, causing the entirety of the town to gain a bias against outsiders. So, we don't exactly have much time. Again, one day, at most. We need to formulate a plan.
Shouldn't we?
From the sound of things, when they came for Irina and Snow, they had initially planned on hanging her. Isaac talked them down, and he decided to watch over her himself. So I imagine she is with him at the Burgomaster's manor.
Most likely. In addition, the Burgomaster indicated to me that he was building something in his room. If she is there, well, I wonder what it could be.
As for the prejudice against us, he looks over towards Sunan. I think we have alleviated some of that, so it may not be as harsh.
Well, I can't guarantee that. Like I said, we returned and the merchant accepted as reparations, and the gods were very understanding of this whole curse thing. I'm hoping that if we're going to go speak to the Burgomeister, he will also be on the same page. If we explain to him that the devil got into Tor's head, just like he has to many of his own people, perhaps they might cancel this festival. Or better yet, we could make it a festival about celebrating outsiders and welcoming new people. That would be fun, right?
I'm sorry, are you really suggesting that we walk up to the ruler of this town, the one that now has a bias against outsiders so big that he's going to throw a festival about it, and hope to gain an audience to talk with someone who wants us very gone?
Well, the last festival went very, very well. Perhaps, he might consider that. Does like his people smiling?
And say you manage to get access to the Baron by some miracle. How exactly are you going to convince him to hand over... Well, he's not at all convinced that his hold over Isaac is as iron grit as it used to be. So I'm not even convinced that he would be able to order Isaac to give us Irina. But how would
I
you go
can
about that?
say this: if he does arrest us, we'll all be in the same place.
I would rather not have that situation again.
I agree. I was just making a point.
Not all of
No,
us
no,
have
no.
to.
Let's not be arrested. That's not a good idea. I think
I
we should
would
just try to talk to him first.
I would remind all of you right now, the only punishments in this city are the stockade in a public setting or hanging. There is no anonymity for us if we decide to get arrested.
That's why
We.
I'd say it's not such a good idea.
I would
It is
like
worth.
to point out that at this point, as you are discussing, the afternoon is starting to wane, and you start to see the start of the day's end darkening.
While it is an idealistic hope to persuade him, he's a bit towards Sunan. I do not think we can fully convince him of that. It would not, however, it would not hurt to have one or two of us go speak to with him, as I would guarantee that he at least would be occupied, in case the rest of us hope to truly get Irina out of here.
I suppose that works. And to answer the earlier question about how to get out, well, we do know that Strahd has quite the fondness for her, and we also know the only place in this town that Strahd really can't go is the chapel. And now that she's not in the chapel, Burgomaster might be putting himself at risk to having Strahd pay him a visit.
I don't think we should keep her in this town. He looks towards this work. It has not held up well aside from the blessing itself.
Circle goes a straw.
She may need to come with us, at least to the Vistani camp, maybe even the tower if we find that to be a safer option.
That the power of not being allowed to be invited in works.
Feel the need to remind all of you. I don't think the Baron can tell Isaac to give her up. When it
No,
comes
I have an idea. Just one moment. And then Stunan perks up for a moment. You can do that thing where you turn into things. As far as the Burgomaster is concerned, Strahd's not allowed to go into his house if he doesn't invite him. But if you turn into Strahd and walk into his house, you might might second guess that. All we have to do is simply ask him for Irina.
Oh yes, just walk into his house as the ruler of the land and known vampire and killer. Yes, glorious. The first thing he isn't going to do is yell out and alert all the guards. That is a brilliant suggestion, Sunan.
Some people cower in fear.
I will
Well,
remind
everybody
it's still the
seems
light
to
of
be
day.
rather scared of him.
It's still the
Yes,
light of
that's
day,
it.
and Isaac did not hesitate to attack the vampires in that nest we found once we had alerted.
Oh, I suppose you're right. It was just an idea. Well, we should probably move quickly, though. If it is getting dark soon, we should probably quickly get back to talk to the Burgomaster and see what we can do. And then get back to the course.
So I was going to look a bit towards the wall around. The gate may not be a good way to leave if we are going to try and get her out of here, at least for those of us actually involved in that. How quickly would your badgers be able to make us another way out underneath?
Well, the big one's a very good digger. They can dig through solid ground pretty quickly. Little one might be a little bit of help, but it might be a little obvious. Oh, Sergol, you wandered around this town a little while ago. Did you happen to see anywhere that wasn't guarded?
Anywhere that wasn't, save for a couple of the positions of the walls, all the gates are guarded.
We're not going out the gate. We're thinking about digging a hole under the gate. I believe that's what Cheval was suggesting, yes?
Or when the wall is just near the side?
That's what I meant. Walls. Walls, gates, they're all made of wood.
I just want to say this. Do we want to find out what is going on before we start planning a prison break and running from town?
Well, I thought that was the point of talking to the Burgomaster, but it's a good backup plan, and to be honest, it's pretty wise for us to actually think tactically here. Take one plan and then have a plan B. If we need to be, at least we can make a quick escape.
If nothing else, I could turn into a guard and just force you all out.
Well, yes, you could. I suppose you could do that. We could have that as a plan C. Yeah, I like all these plans. Seems very different from what we've done before. Lots of plans. Which one should we do first?
I will note that if you go to talk, I am not going to be present, since my reputation is one who essentially cut you off from my organization. The most that I would do is trail behind and try to snoop around myself, and that didn't go well last time.
Well, I understand.
If you could,
Kane and I could be the ones to speak with him. Sunan can come along as an animal of some kind. If we can get any inkling as to where she might be, perhaps Sunan can find his way out and get a message to you while we still talk to him.
Ismark's gonna chime in at this point and be like, that is a good idea. I probably should not go, as the bias is against me and they know me well. And he'll turn to Circle and be like, while they do this, are you not skilled at infiltration? You did scout out at Arjunbast Holt. Could you not find another way while they keep the front distracted?
I was about to say one additional option. I'd have met a couple of the servants and easily could go in under the guise of one. However, well, if we had to do this, I'd rather have a little fun. If you can convince Isaac that there is another threat in the city, well, I could pop in as Isaac. If anyone has a right to enter his room, it's the man himself.
Well, that's all fine and good, but how often can you actually use that power? I mean, I know I have limitations when I'm using my magic.
Right now, I can use it 3 times per. Well, right now I can use it 3 times per day. It's quite a bit of energy, you understand.
Did you transform already today? Because that will make it 2 left.
Nope, I have not used a single spell since starting the day.
Okay, I was joking. Well then, that sounds like it's good. So, the plan is we go talk. Should I be an animal or not?
Is that really pertinent right now?
Well, yes, because if I could look around, I might be able to find her and perhaps get you some kind of message to know where you need to go.
He does have
already
these
know.
dogs, but they stay with him, as far as I can remember.
Yes, they're very obedient to him. At least that's what they said.
Actually, Sundan, now that you mention it, if you could turn into something that could sniff out, perhaps you can help me get Isaac's scent right. Unlike you, I don't know exactly what I'm looking for.
Well, pretty much any animal that I can turn into probably can be able to give you the right smell. I've smelled both you and Isaac, so I already know the smell is myself. But my, gnomish senses aren't quite as good as the animals.
Either way, if the dogs are close by their master, I should be able to move about unhindered as all of you are distracting them. In the meantime, are we deciding to go under the guise of diplomacy and I under the guise of stealth?
I suppose we could do that. And one other idea, perhaps you could be a baron. That would work too.
I would rather not be the Baron. In addition, do we have a lock on Isaac's location?
That I cannot tell you. I would have to sniff him out.
Considering how quickly he abandoned us when we were being taken at the hearing of Irina, I do not think he'll be far from the manor at any point. I'm not sure we can even get into his room if that is indeed where she is kept or any clue if it is. He seemed quite determined when he left, as we saw him.
There are still too many factors that we need to know about. We can't really do much unless you can miraculously convince the Baron to force Isaac to give her to us.
Like I said, we will try, but as I said before, I do not always intend to fully follow through with whatever I may be discussing.
Swindon nods to Ismark as he does that. So just to clarify, OC, we're planning on going in as to talk persuasion and then see if that works while somebody else tries to go in and stealth to see if we can get her free. While doing, or are we doing the plan with getting Isaac to leave and then make him come back as Circle?
I think the first option, Shval will try and remind, maybe if we can get the badgers to dig a well enough hole, we might just want to leave through on the walls at an inconspicuous time rather than those who have Irina to be leaving through the gate.
Okay, then Sundan will suggest that someone go with the badger to find the location for the hole.
If we are getting preparations done, I do have a need to go around and go to a shop to resupply.
Well, we have about half a day. Well, maybe a little less than that now, unless you want to escape in the darkness.
If Ismark is not too far away, I shall kind of try and beckon him and kind of suggest if you want someone to go with the Badgers, perhaps Ismark can at least speak with them. He does not need to necessarily leave entirely yet.
That was for you, Ismark.
Wait.
He asked you if Ismark would want to go to the Badger. He was trying to catch him before he left.
If he wants to ride on him.
Like if Sunan had asked like someone go with the Badgers to find a spot to dig at, Shval says that Ismark can go with them then if he doesn't want to go inside in case his emotions start to cause trouble.
Actually, Ismark will then suggest to dig behind the mansion. This way you would have a place for quick retreating.
Well, that could work. I'm not exactly sure how long it would take you. And then he looks over to the badger and he starts speaking in badger to him. But how long would it take you to be able to dig a hole that far that was steady enough for all of us to escape to?
The badger's gonna say before complete darkness.
Oh, well, that works. He's going to turn to the others. Oh, the badger can do it before dusk.
That sounds good. And not all of us need necessarily go through it if those of us talking to the Baron do not get any foul attention.
You can estimate that the end of dusk will be in 1 to 2 hours.
All right, so we're gonna start getting our plan into order. Do we have a minute to do stuff on our own, real quick?
Yeah, Circle wanted to go get restock on gear, right?
Yeah, and do a couple of things at the blacksmith, but other than that.
Okay. All right. So Circle, where are you heading for restocking? Just a local merchant of.
Yeah, a local merchant. The first thing I would do is go to the blacksmith and commission the item that I asked you about before, Vicky. Then I would probably get some oil, some more pythons, definitely.
Okay. You'll have to give me a quick reminder in some whispers because I need to think of the price exactly. He won't sell you the python, so you have to go to 2 different merchants for this. You can buy some pitons, and same thing. You'll get the price of PHB times 5. That's their starting price.
Damn.
In the meantime, Sunda's going to find that raven that was eating worms, and he's going to send a message to Tor.
Okay. he can send that message to Tor through Whisper.
Okay.
Okay.
Tor, you'll see a raven kind of come at you. You don't really need to run a perception. I think at this point, being with a druid for as many days as you have, it wouldn't come as too much of a surprise.
Tor will stand up and look to see if it's indeed a message coming from Satan.
Yeah. And then you'll get the message from the raven. So it's not. Once the beast reach you, it's a communication of the message as if the raven is basically talking. If I'm not mistaken, it.
Yeah, it's kind of like an answering machine, I guess you would say. He repeats it in I think it might even be in my voice when he speaks the message.
Okay. Just remember to keep it within. I think it's 20 or 25 words. Oh, the thing says it right here.
25.
Yep, 25. I see it now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's no problem. He'll reach Tor in minutes. Okay. Okay. Kane and Shabal, is there anything on your end that you want to do before you head to the Baron's Mansion?
Chevelle is gonna kind of wait to make sure that Circle has enough time to prepare. In the time being, before then, he'll probably head back into the Abbey just to sit down in place so he's not just out standing outside somewhere. And we'll be writing down in his journal.
Would there be anywhere in town where I could buy platinum rings?
You don't think they have a store like that? They have very, very basic merchant places. You have your place for basic adventuring gear. You have a herb shop, quite a few places for food, but nothing that goes for luxury in this place. Um, there would be a local jeweler that you could try.
Okay, I'll try there.
Okay. The jeweler will tell you he doesn't have any platinum rings, and he hasn't come across any platinum to melt it into a ring in some time. And he'll try to sell you a few basic gold rings.
Now, I do have a question. Can you turn a platinum coin into a ring?
And he'll laugh and tell you he hasn't seen one of those in ages, and he's not sure there are any in Barovia.
I will take one out of my coin pouch.
His eyes will double in size for a moment. Where did you get this?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
One not enough to make a ring. I would need at least 3.
3 per ring?
And he'll look at you even more surprised. You have more?
I have enough for my purposes.
Fit.
Let me say this.
Is he going to his
I
shop?
have. I will hand
I
you
need to be.
3 pieces because I need 2 rings, and if you can have it done before morning, I will give you 2 platinum pieces to have.
I could have it done within the hour. Nothing fancy.
I'll
No,
wait.
no engraving. No.
No,
Then if
I'll
it's
wait.
then simple hour, and he'll get started right away. He's gonna take your 6 coins and kind of disappear in a back room, and you'll start to hear some tinkering coming from the door, from behind the door.
Promise. Promise I'm not wasting shit. I promise.
Okay.
I actually think I know that spell. I just don't remember what it's called.
Warding bond.
Yeah, that's the one that I thought it was. That's a pretty useful spell.
Warding bond. Oh, okay.
Warning
No.
one is a spell. That's what the rings for.
I could
Okay,
feel our
that's fine.
dragonborn friend cringe when I said I was melting platinum.
If you ever ask Sergal why he's really against using, well, you don't know that. Never mind.
This is shopping in Barovia is like going to a Western European country in the '90s with $100.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But they have very little patrons, therefore they
Not
have to
Western.
make their money somehow.
I meant Eastern. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I meant Eastern.
Don't you have to make like one ring for everybody in the party if you want to cast that on any of us?
Um. I'm just gonna make sure I have 2 for now.
Because yeah, one person, you both have to wear the rings when you use the thing, so it's like you have to
Right.
pre-plan to who you're gonna protect.
Right. Um. Let's see. That's 2. How many people we have in our party? 5.
Total of 5, so you could theoretically get 6 rings. Sorry, 5 rings. One for you, and then one for each one, and they could work as pairs for any person in the party.
Yeah, there's us 5. We have Ismark. We have Irina as
I'm not
well if
worried
she
about.
is going to come in. Yeah, like I think that's gonna be how many people we'll have at the moment. I think.
I have made
So
my
yes,
promise to them. But can I retcon that to make 5 rings?
yeah, that'll take an extra hour.
That's fine. It's before sunrise. It's still the deal.
All right. But do you wait at the
So
shop,
that's.
because that's waiting a bit, or did you set a time to meet back?
I don't think we set a time. Um, let's see. That means I need to subtract 9 more platinum. Correct?
Correct.
So glad I went shitwater diving.
Right, you've had some issues getting to those.
If you lean in very closely, you might just smell the water off these special rings. It's
No,
part of the magic.
no, we were cleaned in my presentation, and I'm pretty sure everything got a nice firm washing through a cold water cycle of the river that I lost my leg in.
Bah,
So I think
such trivial items cannot undo the greatest of curses Strahd has ever inflicted upon an object.
what the stank.
The ultimate power.
Uh, that reminds me of the movie Labyrinth, the old one, if you ever saw it. The place, the swamp of if you touch it, you stink forever.
God.
I think it might actually be called the Swamp of Eternal Stench or something like that. The Bog of Eternal Stench. That's what it's called.
Oh, where in relation to the jeweler would the herbalist be?
About 3 buildings away.
Okay, I'm going to go to the herbalism shop really quickly while I wait on the rings to be completed.